ברוך אלוהינו שאכלנו משלו וכתובו חיינו, ברוך וברוך שמו, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אזן את העולם כולו בטובו בחן וחסד ורחמים, הוא נותן לחם לכל בשר כי לעולם חסדו ובטובו הגדול, תמיד לא חסר לנו ואל יחסר לנו מזון לעולם ועד בעבור שמו הגדול, כי הוא אין זר ברוך אתה אדוני אזן את הכל, ככתוב ואכלת ושבעת וברכת את אדוני אלוהיך על הארץ הטובה אשר נתן לך, ברוך אתה אדוני על הארץ ועל המזון. נשלח ברכה מרובה בבית הזה ועל שולחן זה שכבנו עליו, הרחמנו איש.
So this award was established back in 1993 by Jeff and Lori Lasday when they were both very involved in communal life here in Columbus, in Jewish communal life, in professional capacity. And one of the goals of this award was to show that the same esteem that we show to teachers in the secular world, which you can say we're not showing enough, and I'll make that argument too, right? But that the same esteem that we show to educators in our public school system and private schools, that same honor and respect should be given to those who teach in the religious school setting and who are working in the Jewish community. Because the kind of work that you all do, and you know this, is in many ways more intense than the work that's being done in public schools. In public schools, you guys have, educators there have a lot more time and a lot more leeway, and we've got our kids for a small amount of time, and we've got to try to make a huge impact. And the Lasdays felt that it was important that we recognize on an annual basis in this community the hard work that all of you are doing, and there's a very illustrious, if you take a look at the list, you can go to the Federation's website and see the past recipients, really just a who's who of people who have just given heart and soul and time and energy and love to young Jewish men and women and children. Just really impressive. So there's actually a letter here that I'm going to read from Jeff and Lori, who live in New Jersey.
Detroit.
Well, that's really interesting because here's the deal. It says West Bloomfield, New Jersey, 48322. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, that's weird because I used to live in the town over from Bloomfield, New Jersey, and I don't remember West Bloomfield, New Jersey. And my dad and my brother live in West Bloomfield, Michigan, so it was a little cognitive dissonance there. But this letter does say New Jersey, so let's try this again. Take two. I have a letter here from, you guys will edit this out from the video, right?
Yeah.
A letter here from Jeff and Lori Lasday from Michigan. Ooh, okay. Dear Naomi, we are very pleased to congratulate you on being the 2017 recipient of the Jeff and Lori Lasday, they left out the word Lasday, Jewish Educator of the Year Award. They're on a first name basis with the award. This summer will mark 20 years since the award was first established. We created the award as a goodbye present, as a way to thank the Columbus Jewish community for an amazing 6 years, and to provide a way for the Jewish community to celebrate the wonderful and talented Jewish educators within its midst. From afar, we have taken much pride and nachas in the incredible educators who have been acknowledged as the Jewish Educator of the Year. As this year's recipient, you are standing on the shoulders of the giants who have come before you. In your nominating letter, Lynn Talon mentions the influence and mentorship that Evelyn Nateman provided to you. We had the great fortune of staffing a Discovery Israel Teen Israel trip with Evelyn and one of her beautiful paper cuts hangs in our home. She was quite a role model. In the coming years, may you continue to share your love and passion for being Jewish with your students. And at some future day when we are writing to congratulate that year's award winner, we won't be surprised to read that she became a Jewish educator because of Naomi Cohn. Kol Tuv and Mazel Tov, all the best, Jeff and Lori last day. So in a moment, you'll be able to come up and get this award. Before I hand this over to Lynn, who will actually present you with the beautiful certificate, which is, as of always, suitable for framing. I do want to say a few words. Naomi, I've gotten to know you in the last 15 years that I've been here, and also your family. We've been through some good times and through some difficult times. And one of the things that always impressed me about your entire family is just the incredible way that you have of making connections with people and relationships with people. I know you probably have all heard this 100 times, but we're in the month of Elul, and Elul is spelled Aleph Lamed Vav Lamed, which stands for Ani L'Dodi V'Dodi Li. And this is a month during which we remember our relationship with God, but we reflect on the relationships that we have with other people. And it seems to me so fitting that just a few days into this month in which we think about relationships, we're giving this award to you on behalf of the last days for all the wonderful relationships that you have nurtured, not only between you and students, but the relationship between students and our tradition and Judaism and Torah. So on behalf of everyone in the community, but in particular everyone at Tiferet Israel, Rav Todot, many, many thanks for all your hard work. Yishar Koach and Mazel Tov.
2 years ago, when Shirley Benatar and I had discussed the last day, we decided that the person we wanted to nominate was Naomi. And the process got away from us that year, and we're like, next year. So here we are next year, and we are so thrilled that you're being honored with this award. There are 3 things that I want to tell you about Naomi. Number 1 is that family is first, always with Naomi. Naomi taught me it's okay to take off your birthday because your family is going to take you to dinner. She also taught me it's okay if your kids wear sports jerseys every day because her kids do too. But the other thing that Naomi taught me, number 2, is that it's important to always be kind. And recently Naomi has been working with 2nd graders mostly. She has had many duties at Tiferet Israel, including helping to run our satellite and being the person who is with the kids on Saturday mornings for junior congregation and all different kinds of things. But Naomi is kind, and she's always kind. She's always kind to her students. She's always kind to other teachers. She's always kind to the congregants. She is a special person who always remembers what the other person might feel like, including the 4th grader who shows up every week at 4:15 and doesn't have a snack, and she already put the snack away, and she has to take it out and get that child a snack. The 3rd thing that I want to tell you about Naomi, and I think it's probably the most important thing, and as Jeff and Lori mentioned in their letter, Naomi's role model was Mrs. Evelyn Naitman. And Mrs. Naitman was a really special person, and she was a role model for a lot of us. But the thing that you really need to know is that Naomi is a special role model. And when I gathered information to do this application, the first person who responded to me immediately with not a super long explanation of what Naomi was why Naomi was important to them, but it was so heartfelt, was from one of her madrachim, who said, Naomi is my role model. I want to be Naomi, and I think that she is special because she taught me how to be a teacher. I also had the pleasure and experience of my own son was Naomi's assistant teacher, and he also now works with kids on a daily basis, and Naomi was his role model. So it's really amazing that Naomi is our role model, but that she learned from another. And the tradition in Judaism from generation to generation is so important. And I am so honored and so pleased to be able to present Naomi with a certificate from the Jeff and Lori Last Day Educator of the Year Award.
Oh boy. Have to take this all in for a minute. All the things that were said about me, it's very nice to hear. Makes me have tears in my eyes. And I didn't have this part written down, but I think that I also learned a lot from my parents who raised me to be who I am. And they're not here today. My mom is not well enough to come, and my dad is not here for about 1.5 years now. I just lost my mother-in-law 3.5 weeks ago, who would have been so proud of me and would have told everybody, because that's what she does. She always said, my daughter-in-law is a teacher, and she was just always so proud. And my father-in-law too, who we lost about 5 years ago. So those very important people who are not here today are everything that I am. On top of all of you, and I see my posse right here and my fellow teachers, and I just couldn't do it without everybody who's here today and all those that I don't know and familiar faces and things like that. So thank you for those kind words, Rabbi and Lynn. It's hard to hear things about yourself that are so nice sometimes. Thank you very much for this prestigious honor. I used to sit where you are sitting and see educators come up here and give these very impressive speeches. I would sit there and think, if I ever won, I wouldn't know what to say. Usually, they would start out with a Jewish saying or a funny joke. I looked up Jewish sayings, but nothing struck me. And because I always taught 2nd grade, my knowledge of jokes is reduced to the humor of a 7-year-old. So I decided to tell you how it all started for me, and I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I was born in Washington, D.C., a child of Holocaust survivors, observed Shabbat, went to Hebrew school, and had my bat mitzvah on a Friday night, because that is what girls did back then. I was bored and tired of Hebrew school like most kids at that age, and I didn't have that many friends. But something miraculous happened. We moved to Columbus, Ohio. I was 13 years old and in the middle of 8th grade, pretty tough age to move. But we joined Tifereth Israel, and I joined Hebrew High School and USY and attended Camp Ramon, Wisconsin. I made so many friends, some who are sitting here today, and it changed my life. I began my educator career at the age of 14 as a gopher. You know, go for this and go for that. We call them teacher's aides now, and I did this till I graduated high school. I attended the Ohio State University, although back then it was just Ohio State University, it wasn't the Ohio State University. All the while teaching Sunday school at Tifereth Israel. I got my own classroom when I was 18. I taught different grades, but eventually settled down to 2nd grade. I graduated with a Bachelor of Social Work and a Master's in Social Work. I ended up getting a job in social work and left teaching for a year. But I was called back to work on Sundays and help out with consecration in 1st grade, and I never left again. I did, however, leave my career as a social worker to raise my children. Tifereth Israel was like a second home to me, and that's where I belonged. I loved teaching the students, and they were eager to learn, and we made it fun. I learned a lot about myself then as well. I didn't know everything, and as we were always told, ask the rabbi if you don't know everything. I had many revelations. But kids today are so much more inquisitive and so much smarter than I was back then. They question everything, and I just took everything for face value. What really makes me feel old is when I see my former students with children of their own, and they are in my class. I went through many, many principals, starting with Evelyn Nateman, and as everybody mentioned, was a role model for everything, from Hebrew High School to dancing to till she moved away. And two of the principals are here today that I had, that were my bosses. Diana Wolf, who is not only my boss, but my best friend and partner in crime for many years. We even attended Hebrew University of Jerusalem sophomore year of college. And then there's Shirley Benatar, one of the nicest, most generous people I've ever known. She was not only my boss for 13 years, but we grew to be best friends as well. She really treated her staff as an equal and was always there if we needed guidance or support. She made teaching worthwhile and taught us so much through teacher developments and bringing us together as a camaraderie. Sadly, Shirley left us last year to go work at Columbus Tour Academy, and Miriam Burke came aboard. All the staff remained friends. Many are here today to see me receive this award, and I couldn't have done it without them. I feel as if I'm getting this reward for all of us, or award for all of us. In May, a new door opened for me, an opportunity I couldn't resist. A new classroom came before me. I still had students, but they were older and more challenging. I became an activities coordinator for the cottage, a memory and Alzheimer care unit at the Wexner Heritage Village. They are eager to learn and we have fun, just like my classroom for so many years. So while I am not going to be teaching at Tifereth Israel this year, I still have my connection to the Jewish community and feel I still have a lot to give. I want to thank Lynn Talon, Rabbi Unger, Alyssa Gerwin, Alla Tempesta, Diana D'Angelo, and Miriam Burke for nominating me this year. I know a lot of hard work went into this, and I'm ever so grateful. I want to thank the Jeff and Lori Lasday Committee as well as Jeff and Lori themselves. I want to thank my husband, my kids, all my family for always supporting me, and my sister-in-laws for watching my kids when they were babies so I could teach Hebrew school. I promised the Reader's Digest version, and there you have it, 40 years in 2 pages. Thank you very much.
Mazel tov, Naomi, on behalf of George and everybody in the room. This concludes our program for the day, so you're welcome to stay around and build community and hang out and eat more food, please. And don't forget to take some of the fun swag on the table. Just a couple other announcements, if you could make sure to leave the Bencher books here. And also, you'll be receiving an email this week from me with a link to a Dropbox, which is a digital file storage thing, and you'll be able to...
Congratulations. Oh, thank you. I guess Danny couldn't make it. Oh, there he is.
Came right by the time we came early, because if we had come at 1, we would have missed the whole thing. I didn't realize
Yeah.
when I started as a store, I was 14. I'm 54 now.
I wanted you to take some pictures, Bennett, but you didn't.
What'd you say?
Where's the picture of Naomi? That was out for her.
Yeah, sure. I wanted to know what a long thing. Oh, really? No, it wasn't.